I was hoping we could have a few minutes together before you left.
Cora had so much to do, I wanted to get out of her way.
Well, didn't you want to see me?
I did want to tell you how much I've enjoyed our friendship.
Oh, hello. Mother told us to sit in the living room till dinner's ready.
Not on the best sofa. Hello. Hello.
Have you ever been out on our porch?
Oh, yes.
Well, let me show it to you. It's awfully hard to grow up in a family with children.
My, I've never known a week to pass so quickly.
Why,
Yes? Yes?
You're going to write me when you get to Springfield, aren't you?
Of course. If you write me first.
But you'll have something to write about, your trip and Aunt Judith and how things are in Springfield. You write me as soon as you get there.
Maybe I'll be too busy. Maybe I won't have time.
Well, you find the time. Let's not have any nonsense about that. You'll write me first and you'll do it right away, the first day.
How do you know I'll take orders from you?
Well, I'll show you. Give me your hand.
Why should I?
Give me your hand, confound it.
What do you want with my hand?
I just wanted it. What are you thinking about?
I was just thinking.
About what?
I was hoping you'd write me first, because that would mean you liked me.
Well, what's my writing first got to do with liking you?
You do like me then.
Of course I do. I like you better than any girl I ever met.
But you don't like me well enough to write first.
Well, I don't see how one thing's got anything to do with the other.
But a girl can't write first because she's a girl.
Well, that's nonsense. If a girl has something to write about and a fellow hasn't, there's no reason why she shouldn't write first.
You know, the first few days I was here, you'd do anything for me. And then you changed. You used to be a lot of fun. Then all of a sudden you turned into an old sober sides. Why, you even dress like an old sober sides. What's the matter?
I just happened to remember something.
What? Oh, I know. It's because this is the last time we'll be together.
Mary, please.
But, Clarence, we'll see each other in a month when I come back. Oh, Clarence, please write me first, because that'll show me how much you like me. Please. I'll show you how much I like you.
Get up, get up!
Oh!
Oh, Mary, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Now you'll think I'm just a bold and forward girl.
Oh, no, it's not that.
Was it because it's Sunday?
No, it'd be the same any day.
Oh! You just didn't want me sitting on your lap.
Oh, it was nice of you to do it.
It was nice of me, so you told me to get up. You just couldn't bear to have me sit there. Oh, well, you needn't write me first. You needn't write me any letters at all, because I'll tear them up without opening them. I never want to see you again.
Oh, Mary, listen to me. Mary, please. Oh, Mary.
Clarence!
Yes, Father?
That young lady's crying. She's in tears. What's the meaning of this?
I'm sorry, Father. It's all my fault.
Nonsense. What's that girl trying to do to you?
Well, no, she wasn't. It was...
Well, whatever the quarrel was about, Clarence, I'm glad you held your own.
Father, I have to have a new suit of clothes. You've got to give me the money for it.
Young man, do you realize that you're addressing your father?
I'm sorry, Father. I apologize. But you don't know how important this is to me.
A new suit of clothes is so important. Oh, why should... Clarence, has your need for a new suit of clothes anything to do with that young lady?
Yes, Father.
Why, Clarence. Why, this comes as quite a shock to me.
What does, Father?
You are being so grown up. Still, I might have known if you were going to college this fall. Yes, you're at the age when you'll be meeting girls. Clarence, there are things about women that I think you ought to know. Sit down. Yes, I think it's better for you to hear this from me than to have to learn it for yourself. Clarence, women aren't the angels that you think they are. Well, now, first let me explain this to you. You see, Clarence, we men have to run this world, and it's not an easy job. It takes work, and it takes thinking. A man has to reason things out. Now, you take a woman. A woman thinks... No, I'm wrong right there. A woman doesn't think at all. She gets stirred up. And she gets stirred up over the most confounded things. Now, I love my wife just as much as any man, but that doesn't mean that I should stand for a lot of falderall. By gad, I won't stand for it.
Stand for what, Father?
That's the one thing I shall not submit myself to. Clarence, if a man thinks a certain thing is wrong, he shouldn't do it. If he thinks it's right, he should do it. Now, that has nothing to do with whether he loves his wife or not.
Who says it has, Father?
They do.
Who, sir?
Women. They get stirred up. And then they try to get you stirred up, too. But don't you let them do it, Clarence. Don't you let them do it. Now, if you can keep reason and logic in the argument, a man can hold his own, of course. But if they can switch you, pretty soon the argument's about whether you love them or not. I swear I don't know how they do it. But don't you let them, Clarence. Don't you let them.
I see what you mean so far, Father. If you don't watch yourself, love can make you do a lot of things you don't want to do.
Exactly.
But if you do watch out and know just how to handle women...
Then you'll be all right. All a man has to do is be firm. You know how sometimes I have to be firm with your mother.
Yes, but Father, what can you do when they cry?
Well, that's quite a question. You just have to make them understand that what you're doing is for their good.
I see.
Now, Clarence, you know all about women.
But, Father...
Yes, Clarence?
I thought you were going to tell me about...
About what?
About women.
Clarence, there are some things gentlemen don't discuss. I've told you all you need to know. The thing for you to remember is be firm.
Mary, when you get to Springfield, the very first thing you...
Oh, God!
What's the matter, Claire? What's wrong?
Sit down, Vinny.
Oh, Claire, Cora and Mary are leaving any moment
Sit down.
now.
Vinny, you know I like to live well, and I want my family to live well. But this house must be run on a business basis. I must know how much money I'm spending and what for. For instance, if you recall, a week ago, I gave you $6 to buy a new coffee pot.
Yes, because you broke the old one. You threw it right on the floor.
I'm not talking about that. Now, I find here
It
among
was
my...
a pity to break that nice coffee pot, Claire. It was imported from France, and that little shop has stopped selling them.
But what has that
They
to...
said the tariff wouldn't let them, and that's your fault because you're always voting to raise the tariff.
The tariff protects America against cheap foreign labor. Now, this bill...
The tariff does nothing but put up the prices, and that's hard on everybody, especially the farmer.
Vinny, I wish to heaven you wouldn't talk about matters you don't know anything about.
I do, too, know about them. Miss Gulick says that every intelligent woman should have some opinion
Who,
about...
may I ask, is Miss Gulick?
She's the current events woman I told you about, and the tickets are $1 every Tuesday.
Do you mean to tell me that a pack of idle-minded females pay $1 apiece to hear another female gabble about the events of the day? Listen to me if you want to know anything about the events of the day.
But you get so excited, Claire. And besides, Miss Gulick says that our president, whom you're always belittling, prays to God for guidance.
Vinny, what happened to that $6?
What $6?
I gave you $6 to buy a new coffee pot. Now I find that you apparently got one at Lewis and Congress and charged it. Here's the bill. One coffee pot, $5.
So you owe me $1, and you can hand it right over.
I'll do nothing of the kind. What did you do with that $6?
Well, Claire, I can't tell you now, dear. Why didn't you ask me at the time?
I give up.
Wait a minute. I spent $4.50 for that new umbrella.
Now we're getting somewhere. One umbrella, $4.50.
And that must have been the week I paid Mrs. Tobin for 2 extra days washing.
Mrs. Tobin.
That's $2 more.
$2.
That makes $6.50, and that's another 50 cents you owe me.
I don't owe you anything. What you owe me is an explanation of where my money's gone.
I do the best I can to keep down expenses. You know yourself, Cousin Phoebe spends twice as much as we do.
Don't talk to me about your cousin Phoebe.
You talk about your own relatives enough.
That's not fair, Vinny. When I talk about my relatives, I criticize them.
I can't even speak of Cousin Phoebe.
You can speak of her all you want to. But I won't have Cousin Phoebe or anyone else dictating to me how to run my house.
I didn't say a word about her dictating. Claire, you know she isn't that.
You said... Well, I don't know what you said now. You never stick to the point. Now, we're going over this account book, item by item. I find here a bill for $38.
I don't know what you expect of me. I tire myself out chasing up and down those stairs all day long, trying to look after your comfort, to bring up our children. I do the mending and the marketing. Now you want me to be an expert bookkeeper, too.
Vinny, I want to be reasonable, but can't you understand? I'm doing all this for your own good.
Oh.
Well, I suppose I'll have to go ahead just paying the bills and hoping I've got enough money in the bank to meet them. But it's all very discouraging.
I'll try to do better, Claire.
Well, that's all I'm asking. Well, I'll make out the checks and sign them. But maybe I haven't any right to sign those checks since in the sight of the Lord I haven't any name.
That's right. Claire, to make those checks good, you'll have to be baptized right away.
Vinny, the bank doesn't care whether I've been baptized or not.
Well, I care. And no matter what Dr. Lloyd said, I'm not sure we're really married.
Vinny, we have 4 children. If we're not married now, we never will be.
Claire, Dr. Lloyd said this morning.
Well, that's all, Vinny. Hadn't you better go tell Whitney to watch for the cab?
Not before you give me that $1.50.
What $1.50?
The $1.50 you owe me.
I don't owe you any $1.50. I gave you money to buy a coffee pot for me, and somehow it turned into an umbrella for you.
Why, Clarence Day, what kind of man are you? Quibbling about $1.50 when your immortal soul is in danger. And what's more,
All right.
Thank you, Claire. Now the accounts are all straight again.